I thought it was about time that I share with you what an average homeschool day looks like around here and how we schedule that. So this is just a standard day in our homeschool. Of course, when we have co-op or excursions and field trips, the days do look very different. But if you've watched my homeschool philosophy video, then you already know our overarching guidelines on how we homeschool. As you will see with our schedule, we are not bound by time. I can't do time-based schedules. That just goes against every ounce of my being. That's just too many rules for me to follow, and you all know how I feel about rules. But we have over the years found ourselves in a rhythm that works really well for us. And so that is what I use for our schedule when I'm planning out our days, weeks, and months. In fact, the only time on the clock that we do aim to work for is our start of the daytime, which is 9 a.m. All butts on the lounge chair by 9 a.m. That is at least our goal. So in full transparency here, I do have one child that's relatively successful at this pretty much every day. Their backside is on the lounge ready to start by 9 a.m. But I do have another child that drags the chain on this one at least a few days a week. It is what it is in a house full of teenagers. In effect, we break our day into 4 blocks. Let me explain each of those to you. And if you've been around here for any length of time, you already know what we begin our days with. Yeah, a documentary. Most of the time, there's no real rhyme or reason as to what we choose to watch during our documentary viewing time. Most often, it's simply just what looks interesting and what becomes available to us via one of our streaming services. However, if we are working on a unit, then I will try and seek out documentaries that fit in with the unit we are currently studying. We spend around 20 minutes watching a documentary, so obviously we don't generally finish a documentary, and it can take us a week or two to finish some documentaries. But we spend around 20 minutes each morning watching the next portion of our current documentary. Of course, every single morning I get begged for just 5 minutes more, just 5 minutes more. And especially now, whilst we're in our winter season and we're on the lounge, rugged up with our blankets and a nice piping hot cup of tea and possibly a piece of warm toast. Generally during this time, I'll file washing and watch the documentary along with the kids. So after we finish our documentary viewing time, we then move straight into quiet independent reading. So we stay on the couch, we're nice and warm, we're nice and chilled there, we just grab our books and we read for another 20 or so minutes on our own choice independent reading. This probably seems a little backward compared to every other homeschooling schedule video that you may have watched here on YouTube, but we've found that that's actually what works best for us. For years, I left our quiet, free read, independent reading time until the very end of our day. And far too often for my liking, it got left by the wayside. We were always rushing off to do something else, and so we'd say, oh, it's okay, we'll read tomorrow, we'll read tomorrow. So by doing it earlier, it never gets left off the list. And that brings us to the end of our first learning block. So from there, we move into block number 2, which I call our independent working time. Again, we do not put times on our days or on our schedule, but most generally, this does happen at around about 10 o'clock, and we all move off and start working on our independent work. When we add something new or different to this time slot, we'll generally work on it together until we get to the stage of being able to do that independently. So this is where things like math, computer skills, all those little things we do like read theory, typing, vocabulary.com, those types of things are done. If we have homework for co-op, it gets done here. And then of course, if we're working on any reports or essay writing, this is the block of time in which all of those things happen. And no, we do not get to all of those things every single day. We just simply prioritize what needs to be done. So of course, all of our maths homework must be done before we see the tutor again the following week. If we've got co-op homework, that is going to take a priority over our computer learning activities. We just prioritize. Generally on a Sunday evening or early on a Monday morning, I will take a look at how busy our week is and choose what items we must get done. So those little extras like computer school certainly don't get done every single day. We do more of those if we're in a quiet period, if co-op's not on, for example, so we don't have co-op, we'll spend more time on computer school activities. Again, there is no time schedule here. but this independent block generally runs for around 60 minutes. So that brings us to roughly about 11 o'clock. And then we move into block number 3. And this is our group work block. So during this block, we cycle through any programs that we're actually doing together as a family unit. So those things at the moment are grammar, science, coming up we'll be doing history and a geography unit all together. So we will cycle through those together in our group work time. We generally finish this up around midday. So we take a quick break, grab some lunch, and then move into block number 4. Our afternoon activities. And this particular block looks different every single day of the week, and often term to term this afternoon block is different as well. But this is the session that will have things like singing lessons, drama classes, homeschool group meetups, excursions, etc. They are all mostly activities that we need to leave the home for. And that's it. It's really a very, very simple process. It's very gently paced, but it's a rhythm that works for us, and it works really very, very well for us. If you have any questions at all about our daily schedule, please feel free to pop them in the comments box below, and I'll be happy to answer them as best I can. As always, thank you so much for being here. Until next time, bye for now. If you have any questions about our schedule, please just pop them in the comments box below. My brain goes too fast for my it just all goes too fast at times.